Hey guys, welcome back. Fast Monty's Garage. It's been a long time coming. It's time to start this beast. Oh my gosh, we rebuilt the motor, put a Tremec TKO in, made some other mods along the way, and now we're finally here. So if you guys have been watching this whole series unfold, great. If you're new, check it out. This is actually where it started. I don't know, 35 videos ago. Woo-wee! So here we go. So today, we still have a lot to do. We actually have to prime the engine for oil, which you're gonna need like an engine. It's called an oil primer rod and a drill. You're gonna need your distributor, of course, your distributor gasket, your hold down, 9/16" wrench for that, masking tape, Sharpie, fire extinguisher, and tell your loved ones to be ready to call 911 just in case. Oh man, and of course a timing light. So first things first, like I said, we got to figure out, we got to get our distributor lined up, and to do that we have to find top dead center. And those of you who've been following along know how to do this, but if you don't, what you do is when you get close to your timing mark, zero timing mark, put your finger over the spark plug hole. If there's spark plugs out, makes it easy. Rotate the crank. As you're approaching zero, if the number one piston's blowing air out through trying to go past your finger or your thumb, you're approaching top dead center on number one, which is what you want. If you're not, that means you're on top dead center number 6. So don't do that, because your timing is going to be messed up. So rotate it again another 360 degrees and you'll be at top dead center number 1. And you stop there on the crank. Put all your plugs in. My plugs are in. I have an HEI distributor, puts out 50,000 volts, so I can gap my plugs wider. So I have around 50 to 55 thousandths gap on my plugs. And now that we're at top dead center number 1, we get to drop the distributor in and figure out where number 1 is, or where you want it to be on your distributor. So it determines where you run your wires. And I'll put the firing sequence in the description area just in case everyone forgot. Believe me, I don't have it memorized. I have to look it up every time. So my wires are set already. All I need to do is figure out where number 1 is, and that's where our tape comes into play. So I'm going to go ahead and take the air intake off, so we can get a better view at it, and we'll go from there. Be right back. Alright guys, before we do anything, we need to prime the oil and the oil pump, because this is a brand new build. Those of you that have just changing the distributor, you don't have to do this, but if you just built your engine, oil has not gone through everything yet, nor has it gone through the oil pump system. So you use this priming tool on my drill, and the trick is you do it until you see oil coming out one of the valves, depending on the location. So we're going to go counterclockwise on a Pontiac. If you have a Chevy motor, it's clockwise. Alright, I hope you saw that. And the reason I'm on the passenger bank, I'm sorry, the driver's side bank, is because the oil has to go further from the oil pump and the oil filter to this side. So if it's working on this side, it's clearly working on the other side. So we're good to go with priming. Let's go to the next step and talk about the distributor. Alright guys, so I put the distributor in the car purely to see where my wires end up. This is the way I want my wires set up. Number 1 is actually over here. The reason is my electrical connection won't fit on this side. It won't fit over here. It won't fit over here. So luckily, the last spot's over here. So number 1 is here. And when we set our timing, we're going to rotate 10 to 12 degrees from there. So I need plenty of room to rotate. So my guess is my target, even with timing, is going to be right in this area. So I want number 1 to be right here. So take a piece of tape put it on your firewall, and then take a Sharpie. Try to estimate what dead center is on your distributor, and then go right over the number 1 wire and put a little dot. This is where number 1 needs to be lined up. So now we can take this off, and I'll show you on the workbench the associated angles with the oil filter, and we'll figure out where to drop in the bottom half. I want you to be aware of something. Once you have your wires figured out where you want them, find number 1. So here's my number 1, and go down and mark it on the base of your distributor. So this is number 1. Because we're just going to play with this part of the distributor for now. When you drop this in, you actually have to start at an angle because of the helix. So when it drops in, it goes like that, it turns. So you want it to end up here. So that means you have to start it off center. And if you look at the bottom, see that slot? That has to line up with your oil pump. So if you follow that line, it almost lines up with number 1 on mine. It might not on yours. So you can actually take a flashlight and look in the distributor hole to see where that shaft is lined up, and just take a wide screwdriver and turn it. It's very easy to turn, so it matches up with your off-center version, which happens to be almost in line with my mark. So let's go back to the car. So when we drop it in, here's that angle I was telling you about. See how it moves on its own and then ends up? Now, if I look at this angle, I'm way over here, so I'm a full plug wire off. So what I want to do is take this out, take a screwdriver, and we got to move the oil shaft about 15 degrees. So our starting point, we want to be over here, so we end up here. So take some feel. I finally found it. So I rotated it, what I think is over here. Let's see how we did. All right, we're in. We'll do the same trick. Let's get a piece of tape. Sharpie dead center. Looks good to me. So now we'll take this out again. We have to put our gaskets in, remember? And any shims, if you have any shims. All right, guys, here we go. I double checked everything. I'm getting nervous, and I guess we'll see what happens. So luckily I have an electric fuel pump, so when I turn the car on, I'll run the pump, and I can tell when it pumps up the bowls and the carb, because the pump starts to strain. I'm going to turn the pump off and go check for leaks before I do anything else. So here we go. Battery. Power. Pump, you can hear it. I can hear gurgling up front. So I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to go check. I'll be right back. Alright guys, fuel bowls have fuel in them now. Here we go. So 2 pumps, and then crank it. Very nice. So I'm gonna go check for leaks. Probably put the car up, and I see smoke. Well, not smoke, but I think stuff burning off of the exhaust from manhandling those. And I'll start the engine again, get it to idle, and we'll check timing. Be right back. All right, guys, nothing's leaking, so that's good. I'm just gonna get the car up to temperature and idle, and I'm gonna go to the front of the car and start doing timing. Like another camera set up over there, but the target is 12 degrees. Oh, 10 to 12 to start. And once I get that nailed down, tighten down the distributor holder, and go for a test drive. But I can't do that because the hood is not on yet. So I have to get the hood back on. So I have to call a neighbor, phone a friend. My wife's not tall enough. She can't do it. Anyway, here we go. Hey guys, welcome back. I know it's only been like 2 seconds, but the hood's on. Man, is that a sight for sore eyes or what? Whew, man, I can't wait to our test drive here. So, since 5 seconds ago, we put the hood on. I retorqued the heads, and those of you who are paying attention to me setting the timing, you probably noticed a lot of valve clatter. That was to be expected, actually. I had a little bit of under a half turn preload on the lifters, and it's also still on break-in oil, which does not have the same viscosity as normal oil, so your bleed down is going to be faster, and you might get some of that clatter. So, after torquing the heads, I went to 3/4 turn on the preload. Sounds much better. It's still a little clacky, but it's okay. It's still break-in oil. So now we're going to take the car out for a spin, and I'm still nervous about it because we haven't shifted gears yet. So the Tremec's a test. We don't know if the engine's going to run right, and just all fun. So the other cool thing is I'm going to have 4 cameras. So I'm going to have a GoPro on the outside. I'm going to have probably just use my cell phone on the inside. I have a front dash cam and a rear dash cam. So hopefully I can show you all the footage there. And my GoPro actually has an external mic wired by the exhaust tips. So if we get any kind of random noise there, we can record it. I can't wait. So I'll see you in the car. All right, guys, here we go. So I'm gonna start the car and get it warmed up and let's get down the street. The whole goal is to make sure we can shift gears. See how the engine's running, listening for any anomalies as we're rolling down the street. Hopefully we get up to 5th gear on a back street, but I'm not going to push it. I don't want to go past 2,000 RPM basically. We'll see how it goes. So here we go. Well, I hope this camera works too, because you might hear a lot of wind noise. Reverse works. I can hear the header hitting the frame, not all the time but occasionally, and I'm going to move this camera because it's shaking like crazy. Still shaking, but oh well. Okay, here we go. First gear. Shift to second. cars, I can hear an exhaust leak. And it sounds like tapping. I think it's from this side, driver's side. Yeah, I can definitely hear it. So we'll take a look at that. Alright guys, that was a success to me because we didn't break down. Man, that was fun. I haven't driven the car in a long time, so I'm getting used to the clutch. That's a totally different feel. But all the gears shifted great. Fifth gear was awesome. I think we were going like 55 or 60 miles an hour, and the engine was like at 1500 RPM. Love that. So next step here is we have to diagnose what I think is an exhaust leak. I can clearly hear it when we go by like a barrier or a car. I can hear it popping. Doesn't sound right. The backfiring too, we'll review the audio footage from the GoPro. I'm pretty sure it's sucking in air when we're coasting, and the oxygen into the headers with the fuel makes the backfiring, I think. I'm also going to check for leaks, do a full scrub of the engine, make sure nothing's going crazy that we haven't seen. And so next episode we'll do some diagnosing of that exhaust leak, and we'll go from there. So thanks for hanging out. Subscribe if you haven't, and you guys know the drill. Build them fast, drive them faster. See ya.